What's good, people? Episode 54 of the number one podcast in the goddamn world, Victory and Vices. Me, Rory Spooner, James Veck, feeling a little under the weather, so you're going to have to bear with him.
But we're here.
He's here in the flesh, and we are fucking survivors. Nothing is getting in our way. We got to start at Arsenal. Absolutely. We got to start with Granit Xhaka telling his own fan base to fuck off. Now, I want your opinion on it, because again, as you always know, I ask for Becky's opinion. You articulate stuff very well. What was he thinking? What was he thinking?
I think it's quite the opposite. I don't think he was thinking.
Do you think it's pure emotion?
Yeah. And whilst to a small degree I understand his actions, because he's acted completely in the moment, hasn't
Granit.
he? He's acted
Granit.
100% without thinking in the moment. And there's absolutely no upside to what he's done whatsoever. He's just made himself to look, if he wasn't already like a bit of an idiot, because the Arsenal fans, most Arsenal fans, I can't speak for all of you, are not a fan of Granit Xhaka anyway. They're not a fan of his performances. They weren't particularly a fan of him becoming or being given the captaincy.
Yeah, that's a really contentious issue actually for Arsenal fans.
And then with that then, he has been given the captaincy, so he then has to prove his worth to the many Arsenal fans that don't think he deserves it in the first place.
Yeah.
And then choosing to do something like that after being substituted. I just got so many bad things to say about it.
Arsenal Fan TV went off. It went like Robbie was just sat there rubbing his hands going, "Oh, I've waited for this all season."
The content.
Oh, Robbie is going to be buying a brand new Beamer Benz and Bentley. Bro, I swear to God, right? I think it was like it's either the Troops or the DT video. It had like 60,000 views and it had barely even touched YouTube. They are flying. And say what you want about him, right? I spoke to an Arsenal fan the other day. He knows who he is because he'll be watching this, and he said they don't represent my club. In fairness, now a lot of them actually make sense. I know, obviously, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's amplified for YouTube views, right? So maybe things escalate in a way they shouldn't, but that's just adding to the production value.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I do feel like they make some very interesting points.
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it. I love it, and
I
think they make some very articulate points, which kind of get lost amongst the hype.
Yeah.
But AFTV, bro, it went off.
I'm not surprised because it was just such a bad decision on so many different angles, because you firstly you would say that if you're frustrated with the fans, I understand, right? That's fine. You have emotions, you're a human being, and you're a footballer that's in the limelight all the time. So I understand if he's frustrated, but the one place that you absolutely do not want to be giving some back to the fans is right there in the middle of the stadium in the centre circle, right? Where you are so badly outnumbered and so exposed. It's fucking unbelievable, right? Mm-hmm. Secondly, the youngster, his name eludes me.
Guendouzi?
No, the gentleman was coming on. Was it Guendouzi who was coming on for Xhaka?
Who was coming on for Xhaka? Oh no, Saka.
Yeah, the
Xhaka and Saka. Yeah.
So the young lad that was coming on, right? So I understand from Xhaka's point of view that he might not be overly impressed. It's still it's not even that late on in the game, and he's being.
Bro, it's only October. it's not late in the season.
And he's being subbed for a youngster. I get it, right? You're not happy, but the way that he went off, he didn't really even acknowledge the youngster. He just sort of gave him one of those.
Do you know what it was? Or more so probably than coming off for a youngster was the fans booing him, and he has been made a bit of a scapegoat, right? Some will say he is very limited compared to what Arsenal have had. Arsenal fans are used to your Cesc Fabregas, your Perez, your Petit, your Vieira.
Arsenal fans, they need a reality check. Some of them have still got this invincible mindset. That was 15 years ago.
It was a long time
Arsenal
ago.
aren't the Invincibles anymore. They're not anywhere close.
No,
they're saying that Granit Xhaka isn't an Arsenal player. No. The expectations at Arsenal have shifted so much because Arsenal aren't the team.
The bar is on the floor at Arsenal now. It's
Xhaka is an Arsenal player because what surrounds him, bar Aubameyang and a couple of others,
and Laka,
is pretty average, right? So I'm sorry, but he kind of fits in with what's around him. But what I will say is that as a captain of the football club, you have to take responsibility.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I don't care what your opinions on it. You can say what you like behind closed doors. You have a social media account which you can word things better after you've thought about them. He's probably got people advising him who can say, well, you could tweet this and mention this, and it would probably come across far better. But I understand there's two sides and his emotions are running high, but you're the captain of your football club and you've done yourself no favours.
Very well put. Yeah, he erupted, bro. He went full-scale Albanian. Like, he didn't give a fuck. If he'd thrown the shirt down, he would have been done. Mm-hmm. He would not have had a future at that club. As it stands, I think he can go back. I don't think he can be captain. No. It's hard, right? Because, look, he didn't play that bad, but he didn't play that great. Yeah. He has been a scapegoat in the past because he is quite limited in terms of what he brings to that Arsenal midfield. Arsenal as a whole, I mean, they've got a terrific forward line, right? But, I mean, look, when you have defenders who can't defend, we have said on this podcast 1,000,001 times, Socrates is a Greek waiter, right? He shouldn't be there. He should be in Kavos serving Coke and Pepsi to people because that's where he belongs, right? Mm-hmm. David Luiz is full of shit. He is one of the most technically gifted players I've ever seen, but I don't think he has a proper position on a football field.
With David Luiz, right, I feel like he would probably be their best option for captaincy.
Oh no!
Because if you think about it, right,
I would give it to fucking Xhaka before I give it to David Luiz.
I don't think I would, because
I really would, bro.
There's nobody in that side really with a backbone other than David Luiz.
I mean, or you could give it to Aubameyang.
No, I just don't think he does anything.
I don't think it's enough.
No, I don't. You don't often give the captaincy to a striker. It's just not. It's like
not the done thing.
No, it's like, because they're like your flair players, right? You leave them do their thing, right? You give it to your goalkeeper or like your centre half or your holding midfield player,
someone in the spine of the team.
Yeah. Okay. Someone who can see everything that's going on, right, and assess. David Luiz, we make all the jokes about him. He's got so many mistakes in him. Yes, he's got ability, but he's extremely passionate. And I think he's someone who could get people riled up, right? Which to an extent is what they would need.
Yeah.
Do I think he's a brilliant option as captain? Absolutely not. But you look at what they've got there.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's a good argument. And I just think he'd be one of their better
options, right? But you mentioned Socrates.
He's trash.
Should have had a brace.
He's trash. Oh look,
he got one.
Look, I'm sick of talking about VAR, but we'll in a nutshell, it should have stood.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the worst VAR decisions this season.
I don't get what Callum Chambers did wrong other than get pushed.
Yeah.
Like,
in that situation, there's a lot of movement and elbows and pushes. That's just football.
Yeah.
But if that's the way that our game is going, with VAR checks being done, and
they got to streamline it because it's really, really poor. It's really poor.
Yeah.
And Arsenal are in a state of flux right now because on Arsenal Fan TV, they were like, look, we can pay Emery 6 million to leave, or we can lose out on 45 million by not making Champions League. I don't think they'd make Champions League either way this season.
Arsenal fans frustrate me right now because they feel like, or I feel like, as if they had Arsene Wenger for years and many of them wanted to get rid of him, right?
Rightly so, I think, as well. He'd had his time.
They had the plane banners coming over the stadium, and obviously fans got really, really pissed off with him. But they put up with Wenger for that long, but now Emery's come in, and it's just they have such short memories, right? Because he goes on a run of 6 good games, and all of a sudden he's turning the club around, right?
But Emery. Then vice versa.
And then they go on a bad run of form, and then we can pay this much money to get rid of him. Who are they going to bring in? The situation at Arsenal remains the same, right? Emery isn't currently the problem, because when he's winning games or he goes through a purple patch, then they love Unai Emery. And then all of a sudden the defence fucks up again because it's only a matter of time with Arsenal.
Yeah. Is that his fault though? Should he have invested more in a defence rather than spend 72 million on Pepe?
Yes, but I mean we've spoken about Arsenal's financial sort of hurdles in the past, right?
Yeah.
But then Arsene Wenger for years neglected the defence, so is it Emery, is it Wenger, is there problems behind the scenes? He has.
They need a spine. That's exactly what they need. Arsenal need a spine. There are problems with Xhaka. Lacazette, like Troops' picture earlier. I forgot to send it to you on WhatsApp. One of my boys sent it me on WhatsApp earlier, where a Troops' picture is in the Emirates and he's saying Emery out. And Lacazette like the picture, bro. I know, it's chaos. So between Lacazette liking pictures he shouldn't, Xhaka telling everyone to fuck off, Ozil can't even get on the coach. They won't even give him a space on the coach upright. Aubameyang looks disinterested now. He's thinking, what the fuck's going on here? Lucas Torreira started crying on the pitch when Xhaka started going off. Bro, it is fucking chaos at Arsenal. It is chaos.
Yeah, and I come across a few tasty stats as well. One in particular, right? Because we love our stats,
Yeah,
stats,
of course.
Right? So after winning 49 consecutive Premier League games when they've gone 2 goals ahead, this is Arsenal now, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal have dropped points in each of their last 2 matches where they've taken a 2-goal lead.
Really?
Against Watford earlier on this season.
Oh, they were
against Palace.
Even in midweek against I can't pronounce the name. My Portuguese is not on point. They just scraped it. Do you know if there was Pepe's brilliance, right? 2 outrageous free kicks as well.
Excellent goals.
Excellent, and he's starting to come into his own again. He didn't play that bad yesterday, but he didn't impact the game like he probably should have. But Arsenal are in a sticky predicament, bro.
And there's Arsenal fans saying they can't even beat Crystal Palace anymore. I'm pretty sure they're either above you or they're above you now anyway. So
Arsenal, but listen, is it a false position because Arsenal aren't doing that bad?
No, they're not, but I think that's also a reflection on the poor quality that surrounds them as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's the gap between, I don't know if it's maybe 4th and 14th. There's only a couple of points, right? So it's not massive.
It's quite almost like the championship at the moment, the way that you can win a game and move up so many places. Right now.
United.
Apart from Liverpool and in some ways City as well, because obviously they've narrowed the gap slightly and almost did so again more yesterday, but. Apart from them 2 teams, which you'd bank on winning most weeks, the same can't be said for anybody else in the league, right? So, Arsenal, they're going through a bit of shit at the moment, to say the least. But just to give Palace,
we got to give Palace some props as well, because we do give Roy Hodgson a lot of stick. We give Zaha a lot of stick as well, and Zaha, I think that summed up his career right yesterday, where it's at, because he got booked unnecessarily and the referee reversed it. If we didn't have VAR, Zaha would keep getting into that situation, and it was a foul on Zaha. It was 100%.
We give VAR stick, which is is rightly so sometimes, and it's going to get a hammer in again on this podcast for this week, because on the face of it, it was pretty atrocious, right? But that one, it did get right. Yeah,
totally agree.
And also, so since returning to the Premier League in 2013, Crystal Palace have both won 48 and scored 39 more penalties than any other side in the Premier League. So they've scored 39 and won 48.
Milivojevic is that guy, though, isn't he? Yeah. We spoke about this on the podcast as well. If you got a penalty taken, you want him taking it.
As United.
I'd buy him. I would buy him. I'd buy him just to take penalties. Just come on, because we'll come to that later, because that's fucking outrageous in itself. But one last thing I want to point out about Arsenal. It was a World Cup weekend in rugby.
Yeah.
Guendouzi, do you see his tackle?
Yes, it did.
What the actual fuck? And Guendouzi came out and he just held his hands up and he said, look, I was last man. I had to take him. I think they were sort of far away from goal anyway, but it's a great tackle. Zaha, I just couldn't believe it. Like, he was in so much disbelief that this guy had rugby tackled him, right? That he couldn't quite... He was looking at the referee like, did that just happen? Did he actually just take me down like that?
Completely the wrong sport.
Bro, it was fucking wild. But yeah, Arsenal, you are the gift they keep giving. And whilst we aren't Arsenal fans, from a neutral perspective, the entertainment's fucking brilliant.
Thank you.
But from the bottom of our hearts, we do appreciate it. So move on, because this is the talking points. Leicester 9-0.
I still can't believe the score reading it now.
One of my boys WhatsApped me, right, and he's like, it's 8-0. And I was kind of like, nah, it can't be. And then he went, it's 9-0. And I went, it definitely can't be. I was like, you must have typed this wrong. And then I looked at it, and I was like, holy mother of God, they have been battered. Like domestic violence battered, right?
Absolutely.
They hammered them. And
this was brutal.
Bro, it was, and one of my boys, Joe, that used to work with me, he was speaking to me on Twitter, and he's like, the rot is deep at Southampton. He's like, you don't understand how bad it is. Like, they're going. He is convinced they're going down. After seeing that, do you know who they got this weekend?
City
away.
They've got them twice though.
Oh,
they've got them in the cup,
bro.
I think in midweek.
Yeah.
And then they've got them in the league.
Self-esteem will be at an all-time low at that club.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I read today that they've all donated their wages to charity.
Fuck that. Give it to the fans that went up. You should be giving them a return on all their tickets and
if you're
coaches.
You're thinking, you're like, oh, well done, it's gone to charity. What a lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
But
bullshit.
You'd at least refund our fucking ticket, couldn't they?
Bro, I'd give them all a refund and something complimentary, a little customer service, because they got... It wasn't even like they went there and lost, right? And you can come away and go, oh, the lads tried, like, do you mean, and it just wasn't our night. They got thumped. Remember I said to you the other day, Watford, they played Man City? I can't remember what the score was.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the worst performance I've ever seen. Yeah. No, that's the worst performance I've ever seen.
It's these sort of games, right, where you go in, you're 5-0 down at half-time, right? The game is lost, right? I I'm one of those people who always believes that it's not over till it's over. You can turn things around, right? Yeah, and never say die attitude. You've got to be positive, right? Of course, I've got that outlook. But there are just some situations where there is a limit, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You come in 5-0 at half time, you're obviously the second best team in every area. So somebody has to then say, right, lads, we're 5-0 down, the game's gone, right? If we don't sort this out and change the way that we set up, this is going to become an absolute embarrassment.
So tune in.
Right? 5-0 is a terrible result. You're talking 6-0. You see the odds 5 and 6-0, 6-1, right? And you go, that's a bad day at the office. You don't need that to be getting to 7, 8, and 9 and onwards, right?
No.
Somebody needed to say, right, just nobody goes forward. Nobody at all.
Just camp in your half. Yeah. Well, everybody just stand on the goal line.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to do.
We would rather accept that we're going to lose this game 5 or 6-0 and just try and draw the second half or lose it 1-0 even, right?
It's mad, right? Because there's talent in that Southampton side, though. Like, they're not a bad side. You look at Højbjerg, you look at what's the lad from Barcelona? Is it? No, I was going to say Romelu. In my head, I got Lukaku's name. But my man, the Spanish guy,
Romeo, isn't it?
Oh, Romeo. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Romeo. I can't think of Romelu. Romeo. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So Romeo, Højbjerg, Nathan Redmond, Bertrand. Some decent players in that side. Yeah, you should. There's no way that should be happening. Yeah. So questions got to be asked.
It's a strange one because you go back towards the end of last season, and we were only given Ralph Hasenhüttl a bit of credit.
Yeah.
For he looked like
it's that new manager thing, and it's like a honeymoon period. It's like when you're in a new relationship. You can answer this very well. And basically, everything is just hunky dory, and you're like, God, I love being around you, and they're like, I love being around you too, and this is working really well. And the romance it's just killer. It's got that killer fucking vibe, and then all of a sudden you start looking at each other, going, I don't like you the way I thought I did. Actually, to be honest with you, I really dislike you. Yeah. I think we should see other people. That's how it is.
I got another stat here, though.
Yeah, please do.
And this one I actually memorised, right? It's not you can tell I haven't even scrolled down to the stat part. This screen hasn't moved, right?
Do tell.
So this is up here, right? So in this match, you will remember there were 2 hat-tricks.
There was.
Jamie Vardy and Ayoze Perez, right?
Yeah.
That has only ever happened once in the Premier League before this, in 2004. Do you know what team it was?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay.
2004. What was I even doing then? I don't know.
Well, I was 9.
I was 38, so I could have been doing anything. So I don't know.
Okay, it was 2004. It was Arsenal.
Oh, Henry and Perez.
One of those is right.
Henry.
Nope.
Perez.
Yeah.
Really? Perez and Ljungberg.
Nope.
Oh fuck! I don't know then. I don't know.
Okay, it was Robert Perez and Jermaine Pennant.
Shut the front door, Jermaine Pennant. Yeah. Jermaine Pennant, like Big Brother Jermaine Pennant. Jeremy Kyle Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine Pennant, I let my missus work on Babe Station because I haven't got any money, Jermaine Pennant. Holy mother of God.
So it was them 2 had a hat-trick, so for those of you who love a stat, that's a good one.
Fucking hell.
But I was upstairs, right? I was in my bedroom.
Where's this going? Where are you going with this, bro?
Is this
is it Jermaine Pennant? I was in my bedroom.
I got home and I knew that the Leicester Southampton game was on, and I thought, I'll give that a watch.
Oh my God, you just go on. I
went upstairs and I just sorted my room out, and I thought, do you know what? I'll probably miss the first half, but I'll come down and I'll have a bite and I'll catch the second half, right?
Yeah.
My phone, I get a notification through my phone. I look at it. I'm like, 5-0.
Yeah, just all going off.
I was like, 5-0.
5.
It's like, this is ridiculous. I just dropped what I was doing and just went downstairs. And I was like, this is going to be a massacre.
Bro.
And it was.
A massacre is a polite word. It's a very polite word because what happened there was wild. Quick question I wanted to ask you, because I was trying to rack my brain thinking of a good little question. Now, I wanted to see if you actually get the same 4 plays as me, right? Mm-hmm. So, Leicester are now, I think they're in the top 4 right now, and a lot of people are saying Leicester, top 4 could be theirs as long as they're consistent. They don't have any sort of European commitments. And no, irrespective of cup games, Brendan Rodgers has them very finely tuned, right? So with that being said, there's a huge debate on Twitter about Leicester and where their players are going to go and what they should do. Now, the 2 teams that could probably benefit most, there's probably more than 2 teams, but the 2 teams that have dropped sort of the levels quite a bit are Spurs and United. So what I wanted to ask you is this. What 4 players from that Leicester side do you think would get into the Manchester United and Spurs teams?
Was like 2 in each or 4?
Just pick 4, and they can, where you think, what they would enhance. And we'll see if we'll probably pick the large majority of the same ones. Okay, so let us know at home as well.
The obvious one is James Maddison.
Okay, yeah, I gone with Maddison as well. That's one, obvious, yeah.
Another one for me would be Ben Chilwell.
Okay, that's 2, yeah. When I spotted Ben Chilwell, right, playing against Manchester United. And I said, we came on this podcast, and you can go back and look at it. I said, he's going to be a star. And he is. He's the best left back in England right now. Don't even want to hear anything else. Continue.
Yeah. Now, okay, I've got 3.
Okay, yeah.
3 more, right?
Okay,
the one that I really like, and I think you know that I like this person, and I don't know if he's in your 4.
No, he is. 100%.
Is Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah, Tielemans is class.
I think that
terrific football player.
Teams like United, Spurs missed an absolute trick when they didn't go in for this.
Should have absolutely
£40 million
drove him to the training ground.
Is an absolute steal.
He's a quality player, bro.
And it's not like he was a gamble, because he showed last season
how good he was.
Right? Yeah. Against everybody. And then when it turns out how much he's going to cost, even if you got United chasing Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka until the end and deliberating over £1 million, £1.50, £2.50.
Yeah.
And then Yuri Tielemans comes to the market, and they're like, how much is Tielemans? 40 million. It's £40 million.
He'll go for double that.
That's nothing. And Leicester were just pretty much left unchallenged him, right?
Yeah.
I get that he was happy there, and he'd settled in nicely, but money talks, right?
Money talks.
And just nobody seemed to bother, right? So big shout out to Yuri Tielemans, because I had him in my fantasy league well into last season, and he's in it this season, and he's doing bits because he's just a smooth operator.
He is in. Do you know what I mean? Like at Monaco, people knew, they were like, this guy has potential, and I think he just needed that small stepping stone, right? So shout out to whoever his agent is that put him at Leicester on loan, did him the world of good, and that's I'm keep on saying it. That's what all these young players should do. You should go to a Leicester or a club like this, go there for maybe just a season or 2. And just enhance your brand and then move somewhere else.
This is true, right? Now,
so that's your 3 so far, then.
Yeah. Now, there's 2 players left, right?
Yeah.
There's one which I think you've gone with.
You know I've gone with. I already know.
Yeah, you've gone with Ndidi.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Quality player.
Ndidi, and rightly so. The only other one I was going to say, which I think could potentially get in to both sides.
I
know what I'm going to say?
It's Jamie Vardy.
It's Jamie Vardy.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was going to put Vardy in because I was going to go for a 5, but then I thought, no, I'll go for a 4. But you're right, Vardy as well.
It's just more, I think, an age thing, and he's at that point in his career where he's. I don't know if you'd really.
Do you know his goal scoring record though?
It stacks up.
Oh, bro, it stacks up. Let me tell you, he's with some elite company.
Have you got a stat on this?
I did have it, but I don't have it now.
Because I've got a stat on this.
Bring it up.
And again, it's not there either.
Bring it up. Is it a mental one?
Yeah, it's just a bit.
Great, because my mental is shot. So
I just read earlier on this week that since Brendan Rodgers has come in as Leicester manager, he's the highest goal scorer in the Premier League.
Is he really?
Above Raheem Sterling, above Aubameyang, above anybody else you can care to mention.
That's sick.
Jamie V. It's Jamie Vardy.
It's Jamie. We're going to do it all fucking season. I'm glad his misses' situation didn't affect his game. And again, I wanted your opinion on that, right? Because we're not chatty patties like that. We're not necessarily doing the whole IG thing to catch people out. Mm-hmm. What was your take on that when you saw it?
It was bizarre.
It was utterly weird when they're like, as 2 grown men, I'm sat there in work and all the girls are like, oh my god, Jamie Vardy's misses, that's so clever, oh my god, I can't believe she done that, oh my god, what Colleen's a bitch, oh my god, Colleen, oh no, think of the kids.
I just want to know.
I just don't give a fuck, like, I don't care.
I really want to know if Jamie Vardy and Rooney were WhatsApping, just saying like.
Apparently, Jamie Vardy unfollowed him on IG, which is the ultimate snub, isn't it? Like, I mean, and the thing is, though, me and the boys in work were like, he's probably just under pressure from his missus to do it, though. I don't think he
fucking
meant it.
Unfollow him. Unfollow Wayne.
Like, unfollow him now. No, Jamie, no. And he's like, oh God, all right, like I'll do it if you just leave me alone.
And then he's WhatsApping after him. Sorry, Wayne.
Do you know what? I genuinely don't think there's a problem between them.
No.
But yeah, that's a mad situation, bro. That's a murky world, that celebrity world. I don't know if I like it.
I dabbled in that for like an hour because, you know, on your Instagram feed,
oh, bro, my Twitter went off.
But you know what, on Instagram, when you go to click search and it shows you like the
trends.
Yeah, the trending content on the explore page. And it just came up there and I just saw the post and I just, before I knew it, I was like knee deep into her account on that post and then into Rebecca Vardy's account. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I know. Great.
I know, bro. It's I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, to be honest with you. It's not a life that I live. It's not an area of celebrity I tend to indulge in, shall we say. I like to watch podcasts. I like to try and be informative. Now, everyone's got a bit of scandal, right? We all got skeletons in our closet. But that was a little... If it is true, because they're allegations, I mean, you know, nothing's necessarily been proven. Mm-hmm. It's a little snaky, so, Jamie, watch your back, bro. But, yeah, Leicester, bro. Are we saying... what are we saying now? Leicester top 4, yay or nay?
I mean, if you'd asked me to start the season, I would have said I think they'll just miss out and they'll be a top 6. But the way the season's gone so far, I think they've got as good a chance as anybody.
I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to say top 6. I think they'll just miss out on top 4.
You just get a feeling that the big sides will get their act together sooner or later.
Yeah, once they get a bit of momentum behind them.
But then, you know, against all odds, they won the entire thing before. Okay, so I mean, that's
very true.
It's it's certainly not.
It's not inconceivable
that they can't reach the top 4. You know, so you know what? I'm going to say I say they finished 4th.
Okay, cool. I'll say no, just to balance the argument. All right, cool. Make sure you add us up on the social media platforms. You already know the drill, and if you don't, then where have you been? So add us all up. We'll be back in 5, and we'll have the best of the rest. Stay tuned. All right, people, we back. V&V Podcast, episode 54. The Premier League talking points of the past weekend. Now, we're going to delve into Manchester City. Very comfortable win against a very good Aston Villa side. They've done very well. Yeah. Now, there's not a lot for us to discuss, right, because it's incredibly routine. But there was one quite a big talking point, which was Pep Guardiola's praise of Jack Grealish. Now, did you see that?
Yes.
And he used the term, Jack Grealish is an incredible player. And he repeated it. He said, he's an incredible player, but he's too expensive for us.
Yeah, I saw that.
You got oil money, bro. We know he ain't too expensive for you. We know. Now, do you think... Because Grealish is good, right? And we've spoken about him a bit in this podcast. He's very technically gifted. Mm-hmm. As time goes on, he'll learn to hopefully hone his skills and really take hold of a game and you know, make the game his. Do you know what I mean? Be the guy that sort of... what's the word I'm looking for? Dominates the game. Do you know what I mean? Everything goes through him. Do you think he could go into that Man City squad and do a job?
I mean, I wouldn't say so, no.
Do you know what, though? I'd be interested to see if he could. I think he might be a season or two away, but I'd be interested to see if he could, though. If someone like a Guardiola could turn him into a Sterling, like obviously Sterling and him are different players, but another way Guardiola has taken him to a different level.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be interested to see.
It's a possibility, right? Because you know, when you have the talent, you just need sometimes the other ingredients to mix in, and who knows what can happen, right? So talent will only take you so far. You know, we're big advocates of hard work. Takes you the extra mile, right?
Oh yeah,
that's what you need. And in some cases, you need an excellent manager to get the best out of you. So, I mean, it's possible, but more often than not, there's a lot of young English talent out there, right? Playmakers. I can't remember who it was. Obviously, we know English talent is often hyped up even more so.
Isn't it just?
I can't remember who was it said before that. It was someone like, they gave the example of Jack Wilshere.
Yeah.
And said that there's about 20.
Oh, that was Pep. That was Pep. Yeah, that was Pep. Yeah.
And I'm not directly comparing Jack Wilshere to Jack Grealish, and they share the same first name.
True.
But obviously there was a time where Jack Wilshere burst onto the scene.
Oh, bro, what a player as well. What a fucking player.
And what a player he could have also turned out to be. Obviously he's been injury hit quite a lot. But when they're both midfield players, you could argue case they're both kind of playmaker-ish.
Yeah. They got that low centre of gravity. They kind of just glide along the pitch.
And, and Pep once said that Jack Wilshere's pretty much average, and there's 15, 20, 25 of him in Spain, right? And I kind of feel like that's a similar-ish sort of scenario this time around with Jack Grealish. Yes, he's a talented player, and yes, he is a good player, but I just don't really see him making that step.
I was wondering why Guardiola went on to praise him so much, though. Like, you could have just said, yeah, Grealish played well, he was decent.
That.
But do you think he's been trying to be too complimentary or too respectful?
I think he appreciates that he's in England and he wants to try and promote English talent.
Okay.
You've got the whole Phil Foden thing.
He's doing it for the culture, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Phil Foden got sent off.
He compared Phil Foden to Messi the other day as well, which was bold. I love Phil Foden.
Yeah, and Phil Foden got sent off in the Champions League, and he defended him so well and said that we don't fine players for getting sent off. We just encourage them to understand better. And Phil Foden's still a fantastic player. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like he's just giving Jack Grealish, a sort of a confidence booster.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not buying. I don't think anybody buys that they can't afford him.
Definitely not.
Of course they can afford him. They just don't need him.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
I could be totally wrong, but I don't think Jack Grealish could make the step up into a City shirt. Could Guardiola improve him? Yes, but I think he'd be farther on that pecking order.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to the emergence of Grealish over the next season.
I think that largely depends on Aston Villa as well as a club.
Yeah, what they do will be critical to his
I
development.
feel like they need to stay up because
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. I've seen enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's early days, isn't it?
Don't get me wrong. Look, a lot can change between now and May, but I've seen enough with Villa to suggest if they are good enough.
For me, if Villa get relegated,
he's gone. Like 100%.
Yeah, but I think how long they stay in the Premier League depends on how big his next move is.
Yeah.
To an extent, because if they stay up and he has a very good season or continues to have a very good season, and he stays with them and has another very good season next season,
then it
puts him into a much bigger bracket.
Yeah.
Whereas
okay.
If he has
like a Maddison almost, yeah.
If he just has a good season now, but it's not good enough to keep them up, which is another thing, and they still go down, I still think clubs are going to be a bit.
Be a bit iffy on him, yeah. I'm with you. No, I get you. So that's a very fair shout. The City game, not a lot to talk about other than Grealish. We just wanted to touch upon that. Very quickly with Chelsea as well. Captain America finally showed up. Hazard's replacement. Pulisic. I don't know how the fuck you still pronounce his name. He scored the perfect hat trick, might I add.
He did.
And they're all very good finishes too. I think he might have had an assist with the other goal if I remember rightly. I can't remember. I think it was Willian that scored. Bro, look, Chelsea are purring. They're purring. Lampard is getting the best out of them, right? And I'm going to throw it out there. I think the key for them is Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Bro, and I was going to ask you, is there a particular individual at Chelsea that you think is that team, if he came out of that team tomorrow, it would really severely impact them?
Do you know what? I get what you're saying, but I think he's got such a good thing going on there. I don't think losing one person would have too much.
The wheel keeps spinning, so to speak.
Because he's just got such a good thing going on there.
They have huge momentum right now, don't they?
Now, what I will say is they do still look vulnerable defensively. They conceded 2 late goals. Yes, okay, one of them was an absolute screamer.
Yeah.
But they're scoring goals. So at the moment, it's a case of we'll outscore you. Right?
Yeah, you score 2, we'll score 3 type of thing.
Something interesting I did read. I want to get your opinion on it as well. Because I know you like to get my opinion on things a lot. So I'm going to fire one back
definitely.
at you. Right?
Please do.
I've read somewhere that there's potential for their transfer ban to be lifted in January. Right?
Really? Do you know, I was looking at that earlier on because I wanted to find out when it ends. And it's next summer, isn't it?
Yes. But no, I don't know quite know the conditions of it, but there's potential that it could be lifted for January, right?
That would be interesting.
Now, it will be interesting. And what I wanted to ask you was, if they have the option, if it gets lifted and they have the option to now sign players...
This is mad, because you were going to ask me the same question I was going to ask you. I swear to God. I know where you're going.
Do you think that's a blessing, or do you actually think it could be detrimental to their progress?
No, it's a blessing. Because Lampard has had the best part of 6 months to analyse what flaws are in that squad and the deficiencies. And like you just pointed out, going forward, great. Midfield, plenty of options, but they've a little bit of a soft centre.
Part of me and I agree with that, right? But part of me just wonders slightly if the youngsters at the moment, like you said, they're absolutely purring. Their confidence is sky high.
Mason Mount is a player,
Nothing,
bro.
it couldn't be better, right? But if a certain player becomes available and Frank Lampard wants to add a little bit more depth going forward, and there's someone who's quite established, quality player that comes in, I just wonder if it could just knock the youngsters down, their confidence down a little bit, thinking that there's going to be...
maybe, but that's top level sports cutthroat. You got to get on with it.
Because at the moment, a lot of people are saying that it's actually been a bit of a blessing in disguise that he hasn't been able to sign.
Yeah.
Because he's had a chance to promote his youth and look what he's doing.
You live and die by your decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of those players made very smart moves to come away from Chelsea. Like, there's examples now where Mount has gone to Derby, Abraham has gone to, I think he went to Bristol City, he went to Swansea, he went to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
They're very smart moves from very intelligent young men who know we need proper game time, right?
Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi, on the other hand, is the opposite. Hudson-Odoi, I don't know if you saw his goal for England under 21s the other day.
I did, yeah.
Shit. Bro. He knows he's good enough to compete there. He doesn't need to move away, right? His development, he's a freak, right? For 18, he's a fucking freak. So he doesn't need to move away. But Loftus-Cheek, he was a smart young man. He was like, look, I need to move away as well. And Loftus-Cheek is still going to come back. The one that I had such high hopes on, I still do, is Ampadu. I think he's a beast. He's a beast, but he should never move to Germany. He's barely played. He's stuck. He could come back and add a bit of depth. And if Lampard believes in him,
that's true, right? But
could do some bits.
We can't be too critical because we have mentioned on this podcast before about usually going to Germany is a very positive move.
If he was going permanently, I'd say but as a loan move, I don't see the point.
It doesn't seem to have taken off for him, does it? So so it'd be interesting to. It would be actually nice to see him develop like the other
Welsh football
have,
needs Ampadu to develop.
Do, right? But yes, it's not gone to plan so far.
But he could come back though. He's a good shout. He's a very
from
good
one
shout.
youngster to another though.
Yeah.
Over to Dwight McNeil.
Oh, shout out to Dwight McNeil, man.
Yes, obviously he was on the losing side.
I'm pretty sure he was in the Man United academy as well. I might have read that wrong.
I don't know about that.
Let me look.
You
continue.
I'm not 100% sure, right? But you know that I've been a big fan of Dwight McNeil's, and I brought him up, but way back when last season when he was thrusted into the team, right? And he's impressed ever since. He is the first teenager to score a Premier League goal against Chelsea since Marcus Rashford in April 2017, right?
Yeah.
Still such a young player, and he's so gifted.
Mm.
I wonder how long it is before, or let me ask that a different way. Do you think it's a case of if or when Burnley lose Dwight McNeil to somebody else? Or do you think he needs to show a little bit more?
He's eventually going. He's eventually going.
Yeah.
If it's not next season, it'll be the season after. But
and do you think he's another one of those that could benefit hugely from like a springboard club?
2 or 3 seasons with Burnley, and then another season or 2 with someone else, bro. Terrific.
Leicester or something like that,
he was in a Man United youth team. I did not know that till the other day, and I happened to just come across it on Twitter, I think it was maybe. Yeah. But that shows he's schooled in he's schooled with the best. I mean, you have that pedigree when you grow up with that. As a young player, you get a certain mindset when you play for a big club in their academy, and you kind of carry that with you for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
And you can tell because the way he conducts himself, it's ingrained in him from a young age. He's not scared of no one. Mm. Shout out to Dwight McNeil, man. Again, absolute baller.
And one for you Chelsea fans, you've won your last 6 away games in all competitions, and only once in your history have you won more consecutively on the road, which was 7 between February and April in 1989. So even in the great period under Jose Mourinho,
they're flying.
Did you not win that many consecutive away games in all competitions? Super Frankie Lampard, some would say.
Shout out to Frank as well, because it was never an easy task, right? And expectations were relatively low, so I hope he manages the higher expectations. The same way he did the lower expectations, should we say. Mm-hmm. But great result for them. Terrific, they're flying. The big game of the weekend, the real big game, was Liverpool Spurs. Oh man, I was before Becky came over, I was watching them go in on Dele Alli. Do you see it on Sky Sports? Oh my god, they tore Dele Alli to shreds.
They did.
Roy Keane called him a male model wannabe, and it's that he has a very nice Boohoo line. Like I was on there a while back, Boohoo man, and he's got some nice bits. Like there's some garms on there, and I thought, you know what, for summertime, if I was going to Glastonbury or Ocean Beach, I would be like, look, I want some of Dele's gear, right? But Dele needs to fucking actually, I do, yeah. And also as well, have you seen his sex tape too, by the way?
I have.
Poor effort, by the way. But look, I'm not going to get into that now. That's a whole other podcast that we need to get into with that, because that was a little dodgy. But Dele needs to refocus. He needs to recalibrate. He needs to just go away, sit himself down, train hard, work hard, and just get that hunger back, because hunger and desire is key. It is, and he is really missing that right now. He's passive in so many games, bro. And Spurs as a whole, right? Dele is passive. Eriksen doesn't want to be there. Danny Rose, I don't think even wants to play football anymore, the way he's been talking. Alderweireld, I don't think really wants to be there. Kane puts up a good front, but I wonder if there's a question in his head where he's thinking, is this worth it?
It's like Roy Keane said, isn't it? Just in disarray. Just go get him.
Just go get him. Yeah, Roy Keane is just... By the way, let's just take a minute just to absorb Roy Keane. Pay him whatever he wants to stay on Sky, because he's fucking gold. The way he just sort of just cuts people down. What are you all looking at? What are you staring at? Just get Harry Kane.
Mourinho on there, right, is brilliant because he is to the point. But I didn't even know it was possible. Roy Keane is even more to the point.
Bro, everyone's scared of Roy Keane. Mourinho, right, is just like this unshakable character, right? And Graham Souness is a hard motherfucker as well, right? They are both scared shitless of Roy Keane. They don't know how he's going to react. He's so unpredictable. He speaks and they're like... Even Graham Souness, he wasn't scared, but he just thought, I'm going to let someone else speak next. I'm not...
No, two people go talk about it. It's like, I know you go by side, you go.
Gary Neville kind of was... Gary Neville played with it for so many years, right? The Gary's like, look, it's just right. It is what it is. And they have that understanding. But Mourinho is he's like a little...
inside the course.
He's like, I'm not sure about this.
Was it Roy who said that the Spurs fullbacks like Dumb and Dumber as well?
Yeah, Aurier and Rose. Yeah.
Excellent.
I know, it's mad.
But I mean... Spurs looked decent for a little bit of time. I know Gazaniga was...
he's in top form, wasn't he?
To him because he made a couple of cracking saves. But as the game wore on, it just seemed a bit of it was more a matter of time, when Liverpool were going to take over. But yeah, Spurs, man, they've lost, is it 4 games already this season?
Yeah, Poch I think is done. I think they've run their race now together.
I just think that the whole Spurs machine as a whole...
Yeah, it's come to a halt now.
It's coming to a halt because... That you mentioned about the Eriksen situation, is sort of that cloud has been hanging around for a while now.
Yeah,
he's probably going to be gone in January, if not the end of the season. Dele Alli is not firing and hasn't been firing for a long time. Harry Kane, yes, he's still putting the ball in the net here and there, but it's just not the same.
No, there's a different feel about that Spurs side. If they'd won the Champions League, I think they could have built from there. And Ndombele looks class though, bro. Like I know Lascelles, so you find with South American players they take a little longer to adapt, but Ndombele is a player.
And I don't know if you remember. Going back to the Champions League game, I said that I think it was a much bigger game for Spurs than it was for Liverpool, because I felt they needed to win that Champions League.
They're not going to climb that mountain again, are they?
And the difference now after that is huge because
momentum.
Yeah, and a team that looked so defensively solid. It's only like last season or maybe the season before. We were talking about how 1 to 11 they've potentially got the best 11 in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
We always said about the squad, they didn't have the depth, they didn't have the bench that it needed to push for titles, right? But that 1 to 11 for a year or two was up there.
They were on their day. You weren't stopping that 1 to 11. You weren't.
And the majority of that team is still the same, but the same can't be said. So it's like we said. I think that Spurs machine's coming to a halt.
Yeah, it is.
It's for Spurs fans now. I think it's just a case of what can you cling on to or what you want to cling on to, because not a lot of Spurs fans want Poch there anymore. They want change. I mentioned
interesting that is
previously that a good friend of ours, Chris Evans, Ed.
Shout out to Ed.
As you know, is a big admirer of Pochettino, and he said to me he thinks his race is run. So if Poch goes, Kane could go, Eriksen could go.
They might a little clear out wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. As weird as that sounds, just some new faces, some new ideas. Another chance to advance.
I think for Spurs fans, they'll look back on the what ifs of what if we had won 1 or 2 trophies.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Liverpool, on the other hand, fly in.
Yeah.
I was looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they were saying that it's like almost having a De Bruyne at right back, and he's just ridiculously talented. But defensively, he's not that great. No. And we've got Wan-Bissaka then, who is defensively ridiculous, but going forward is just like R2-D2, right? Like, if you had the two of them together, you would have the ultimate right back, which is a bit of a shame that we will never get to see that ultimate right back in our generation.
Yeah.
At least at this point, anyway. There may be someone else that comes along, but the competition between the two of them will be fierce for that England right back spot, and we will be very blessed to see that.
It depends on how they want to set up and who they're playing as well, with them two. But but Alexander-Arnold, very creative player.
Incredibly creative, bro, isn't he? Brilliant.
We did see against United, though, they played a certain way where it didn't allow Alexander-Arnold or
to flourish, so to speak.
Yeah, it's when they're able to advance further down the flanks, they get in that range where they can put in some wicked crosses. But I think United put a blueprint down for other teams.
Mourinho did as well, though. If you defend deep against Liverpool, they will struggle to break you down because they need space in behind, and United just run out of gas. But that is
because what normally happens is you've got Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, they're up and down the flanks. They make the pitch really wide, which obviously you have the full-backs get drawn out, and then you have Firmino, Salah, Mane. They occupy the space in the middle, right, and they're just too much to handle. But then what United did then was they had the back of 5, so if the wing backs come, the out ball as well, and they did that very well. So I think they've sort of have shown, for as bad as they've been this season, that there is a way that you can beat Liverpool.
They look a little more sensitive than maybe the season before.
They do, yes, but I still think City are gonna do it.
Yeah, it'll be close. It'll be as close this season as it was last season.
I think if they'd have lost that game against Spurs mentally already, that would have been huge because it's
a big win in there.
5
it's a
points
big win.
Yeah, but they came through it to their credit.
Yeah,
as well.
Look, Liverpool doing their thing. Even as United fans, it's difficult to argue.
They're just a big game side as well. It says, that a stat they're unbeaten in their last 20 Premier League games against the so-called Big Six.
That's outrageous.
Anfield, that is.
That's outrageous.
Since a 1-0 defeat to United in January 2016.
That's mad, bro. That's a mad stat. That really is a mad stat.
And another with the sort of tie-in with that is Spurs are without a win in their last 11 Premier League away games. They last endured a longer such run between May 2000 and January 2001.
Yeah, that kind of explains why Poch has done.
So there's two contrasting stats there, which highlights
hugely
Liverpool's dominance and Spurs' sort of fall off, doesn't it?
It does indeed, bro. It does indeed, yeah. But for the neutral, it was a great game, though.
It was.
And, shout out to everybody in the Premier League that makes it as entertaining as it is. Because whilst the Spanish League, might I add, is very competitive this season, for me, it's just not the Premier League. It isn't. But it could have been different for Spurs. Sun hit the bar. I think they could have gone 2-0 up.
2-0 up, yeah.
But, it is what it is, unfortunately. All right, we'll come on to Man United very quick. I have not got an awful lot to say other than they should be winning, and it's routine, and that's me done. So what do you have to say?
I do agree largely what you said there. There's only so much you can say about beating a Norwich side which is on a very bad run of form and is a side that you potentially expect to get relegated, right, or at least will be a contender for relegation. So you would normally just expect a routine victory. What I would just say is that nothing for United is routine anymore.
What is normal? What is, as Dave Chappelle said, what is equality? Because that United side are not equal to many. They are a poor side.
But you can only beat what's put in front of you, as you say. And there was only two things that could have happened that I'd have been happy with. One was that they beat them.
Yeah.
And the second was that they beat them and they looked pretty decent doing it, right? And I think to an extent they did. They showed flashes. Having Martial back for me, it does make a big difference.
When he's on, he's on.
Yeah.
But when he's off, he's way off.
He's just a little bit injury ravaged though, and I'm watching him play. I'm going, you play very well, and fair play to you. But how long is it going to be before you take
I'll throw this out there now. You're not getting a full season out of Martial.
Not at all, right?
You're not getting a full season.
I think that's United's best option. Dan James obviously had a pretty decent game as well. Rashford, Dan James, Martial. is a pretty decent front three.
What I will say, just to cut you off, Dan James, right? I've been highly critical of him. And I maintain some of that criticism. I do think that United's position in the table is a reflection of the players that they've bought and the players that they've encouraged.
Yeah.
Now, has he done well? Yeah, he's done okay. He surpassed most people's expectations, right? But what I cannot stand about the internet is when people over-egg the pudding, right? Yeah. Now, what I'm going to say to you is this. I log into Twitter and I see people going, oh, Dan James, he's the Welsh Messi. What a ball. He's like a young Beckham. Now, you have a Norwich fullback there and you have a Norwich central defender there. You could get a fucking herd of elephants through the gap that Marcus Rashford was in. Mm-hmm. I could play that ball over the top. You could play that ball over the top. Stevie Wonder could play that ball over the top, right? It's not a difficult pass. People were like, well, that's just an incredible pass. Please pause it when the ball hits his foot, right? Again, it's an okay pass. But the space he has all of Carroll Road to just run into, for God's sake. Like, it's a pretty easy pass to make if you're a top-level footballer, right? So whilst he played well, people are starting to now develop expectations of him, and that, I don't want to say will be his downfall.
That's the danger zone.
You're getting into danger zone territory now.
No, I agree with that, right? And I'm not one. No, I haven't said he had an amazing performance.
No, you were very reasonable.
It wasn't man of the match display for me or anything like that. It was he had a good game. You would expect most good players, or most professional footballers to make that pass.
They're a championship level team to a degree, though, so he's used to playing against that.
Of course, but then at the same time, it's one thing to see it; it's another thing to execute it, right? So,
True.
So he does have to execute it, which he does, and he does it well. Obviously, he was the one that's created the penalty chance, the first one.
Yes,
it was
a penalty.
Soft.
That's never a fucking penalty.
But he was in the position to create it. He also set Martial up for another few clear-cut chances as well, which he should have also scored.
Look, United should have bagged a few.
I mean, there's two penalties. We won't get into the penalty saga because we've gone into that too many times before.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that.
It could have been 5, 6. Not
could have, would have, should have.
So, it's been a decent week for United, as you said earlier. They got the victory in the Europa League.
Yeah, it's not a bad week at all, in fact.
And they got 3 points, and it's actually propelled them up to about seventh place.
Seventh place, yeah.
Which it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm excited now, so it's put us up to 7th place.
Look, I mean, all it takes is to drop points, and you're back in 14th. Yeah. So I'm not. I wouldn't.
You've got. If next week now Arsenal and Palace lose, which could happen, and United win, all of a sudden they're up to 5th. And then they're knocking on the door 4th place. So, as is the way the Premier League is this season, stuff like that can happen. One thing I will say, I think both of Tim Krul's, both the spot kicks should have been retaken.
Really? Interesting.
Did you see it?
I don't even care about stuff like that though, bro. Like,
the rules are the rules.
Oh, fuck, people, rules are there to be broken. I'm a guy that pushes the boundary.
Remember I said to you before the season about the new rules coming in?
Fuck them and
rules. About the goalkeeper's first step off the line.
I hate rules.
He was almost holding hands with Anthony Martial. He was so far off his line.
I don't give a shit. Like, I think, look, at the end of the day, goalkeeper, you're gonna propel yourself, right? Do you know how difficult it is just to propel yourself along a line? Like, you're gonna come off it a little bit, right?
I just don't see what's so difficult.
Someone's crashing a ball at you at 70 miles per hour. I'm supposed to just be like a mime on the line.
Like fucking British Bulldogs.
Look, I don't give a fuck.
What's so difficult about just bracing yourself and then going left.
No, there's more to it. There's more to it than that. I think you got to give him a bit of leeway, man.
One of the penalties was shite. Rashford's was shite.
Martial's
wasn't much better, but he had a bit of direction. But yeah, I think they both should have been retaken. But
if it was Pogba, he'd still be taking a penalty now. Like, he'd still be running up.
He would. But it doesn't matter because it didn't affect the game.
True. Give it to Maguire till the end of the season. That's what I'm saying.
And
let him prove his 80 million. If you're an 80 million pound player, you can take a penalty. That's all I'm saying, right? So I want to see it happen. Yeah. Just for bants. But anyway, we've been through most of the games. Again, they were the main talking points. There was Brighton and Everton was a pretty decent game actually as well. I mean, I don't want to go in on Everton any more than I already do. This is what I want. I want Tony Bellew to go in and punch every Everton player in the face. Theo Walcott twice. Because do you know what though, right? Guys, like,
I think Marco Silva has been handed a get out of jail free card with VAR this weekend.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because they said a stat live on Gillette Soccer Special that because Everton went 2-1 up
yeah.
against Brighton, and I'm sure they said every time that they've taken the lead in the Marco Silva, they haven't gone on to win the game. Or was it something? It was something like
the guy is cursed.
Yeah, there was a time where like when they were winning, it was like when they concede first, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, when they concede first and the Marco Silva, they never got to win the game.
Right.
Then they equalised. And then they went 2-1 up, and they were like, "Oh my God, he could break his duck." And VAR transpired against them. Right? Some terrible VAR decisions, but I think yes, they lost, and yes, he's still up shit street, right? But I think because of how, do you see that decision, the VAR decision against them?
I vaguely remember it actually. Yeah, I can't remember.
Because of how bad that was, and everyone was talking about saying that was just outright ridiculous. It was never ever a penalty.
Yeah.
That I think he's kind of been given a bit of a let off there, personally.
I think he's going to become a scapegoat soon, bro.
He will.
Because the way Everton is so inconsistent with the players they have. Mm-hmm. And Richarlison's out here tweeting about how all the birds in the centre of Merseyside are really pretty. Bro, you're going to end up like Dele Alli. You're going to end up on a sex tape. You're going to end up modelling cheap clothes for people like me. And you're going to just forget about your game. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's what's fucking happening. Or you end up like Theo Walcott and you just tail off by the age of 22 and a half. And you feel you don't give a fuck anymore, right? That's how it is. But look, Everton, you need to fix up. Please, for the love of God, can we just have one competitive Merseyside derby a season? Just for me as a neutral, right? Just so something I can cling on to and watch and be like, oh, they might actually do something. Yeah. No, fucking hell, Jesus. The last time they had any type of chance, I think, was with Jagielka scored a pile driver.
Just about to say that.
Back in God knows when, many moons ago. I don't know how many seasons ago that was.
15,
that was a long time ago. But yeah, Everton need to fix up. Shout out to Brighton. I still think you'll go down. But look, it is what it is.
You're actually just doing okay as well.
I still
talk about raiding on Brighton fans parade. Shout out to Brighton, you're doing pretty well. I still think you get fucking
I still think you're going down, so I don't give a fuck. It's nothing to me. But yeah, Brighton, Everton, decent little game, is okay. Yeah. Watford, look, I'm not going into Watford, Bournemouth, because that's 0-0.
Bournemouth. Set to be fucking livid with that.
West Ham versus Sheffield United ended up 1 apiece. Ollie McBurney, I hope you didn't drive yourself to the ground. I hope you didn't, bro, because a little bird told me you had a few on the weekend again as well, and you need to relax.
That's a couple of jars.
You gotta relax, bro. You're out here again, bro. I said, look, I'm seeing him on private jets. I'm seeing him in bucket hats. This ain't Glastonbury, bro. It's a Premier League. You're gonna have to fix up. You're gonna have to mature a little bit. Private jets, bucket hats. DUIs, we were saying DUIs earlier. The Americans would call it a DUI. What do we call it over here?
What, Iron 10? No.
DR.
DR10.
Oh fuck, I don't know, man. Anyway, look.
You still fucking work there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I should know that, shouldn't I? But look, at the end of the day, it's like this. Ollie, please, if you're watching, because I know you are, you gotta fix up, bro. You gotta fix up. You can't be out here drink driving. Especially, lead by example. Especially after what happened to the Derby lot. Like, you would think players are booking, and it's not you can't afford a taxi, right? Like, you could seriously put someone's life in jeopardy.
You can afford a chauffeur.
On a serious note, if I'm seeing you on IG, right, and you're in a private jet, and you can't afford a taxi home, we need a conversation. And you need a financial manager as well, because that's piss poor. But on that note, I don't think there's any other games to go over, is there, bro? I think that's about it. There's no other news, is there?
Not any real big news. The only one we just want to share the spotlight on for about 10-20 seconds is the Newcastle Wolves game.
Oh man, Reece is going to kick my ass.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was so forgetful that I forgot it.
But I think he'll understand that, because
he hates
Steve Bruce
so much.
He predicted a 2-0 loss beforehand, so he'll be happy with a 1-1 draw.
Mm.
And you could argue that they had the opportunity to get more, but it's Newcastle, so they couldn't hold on to it.
Oh man, I feel bad now, because I know Reece will be really gutted.
And he'll be listening as well.
I know he'll be listening. He'll be fuming.
And he's coming for you.
Oh, he's got
over Christmas. You know he's back, right?
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a good episode, that will, because he's going to just want 4 hours to talk about Steve Bruce's fat head. Like, I mean, he hates Steve Bruce.
Did you see our exchange on Twitter?
I did, yeah. I did. He's not happy.
He was like saying how Leicester had scored 9 goals in one game, which is the same as they scored all season.
He is not happy.
I was like, bro, you're shit though. Like, why you expect better? And he was like saying, oh, your team shit also. And I was like, yeah, but I know that.
Look, I'm at peace with my team being shit. Yeah, I know. I feel bad for him, man, because he is Newcastle through and through, and that's gonna. I know it's hurting him deep down. But when he's back, we'll make.
Do you know what the irony of that is? Though I told you the story. I think we'll end on this. Yeah. I told you the story previously about how what the scoreline was how many pints we bought the other person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, he's coming home for Christmas, and I've still got to buy him a fucking pint. because we lost 1-0 to them.
Yeah, they lucked out that day, though. In fairness,
they did.
They did luck out that.
It was
day.
the long staff.
The long staff show, wasn't it? Yeah.
Show going on, but yeah, I still owe a pint, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh well.
Choke
it down. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing else, is there? No. There's literally no other football news we give a fuck about. So, with that being said, we will be back next week again. We are going to be very consistent with the content. We took last week off because we're in the process of redeveloping. You're probably thinking nothing's changed. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. And when it arrives, maybe early 2020, maybe early 2021, if I can't get my act together, the game will change. We will be expanding. Forever. We will be accepting guests on. It won't be just football anymore. Our victory and our vice is football. For other people, it's food. For other people, it's athletics. For other people, it's boxing, music, and various other things. So we will be getting guests that we feel can hold a relevant conversation for the culture. We are the culture. We do it for the culture. So expect big things. And we'll end it at that. Signing out, people. Till next time, which might be sooner than you think. Take care. Ciao.